What's up, Dr. Wardo? This is the Jackson and Tucker Show where we explain the study guide.
Alright, the first thing on study guide is define logic. And logic is the art of science and reasoning well.
The next thing is a statement, which is a sentence with a truth value.
Then you've got defining an argument. An argument is a set of statements with one being implied by the others.
The second to last thing on the first question is the syllogism. The syllogism is a deductive argument with three terms.
And an enthymeme is an argument which a statement is unstated and assumed.
Number 2, know the difference between ambiguity and vagueness.
Ambiguity is a statement that can be interpreted with multiple definitions.
Vagueness, a statement that lacks clear boundaries or precise definitions.
Know the difference between intension and extension and be able to arrange a series of terms according to either 1, increasing intension, or 2, increasing extension.
Intention, more specific.
Extension is more broad.
Number 4, know the three methods of defining a term with how to do each method.
Define it with a synonym is basically using a word that is similar with it to define. So if I'm defining the word joyful, I could say joyful means happy.
Number 2, example. If you are defining a table, show a table.
Yeah, so you're basically just showing someone the table. And the last one is genus and difference. So if you're defining a chair, the genus of chair is furniture, and the difference about it from the other furniture is that you can sit on it. So a chair is a piece of furniture that is meant to be sat on.
All right, number 5, understand the difference between the independent and consistent terms and be able to provide an example of each.
So independent it's basically saying if you say all S are P, and then you say all Q are Y, all S and P has nothing to do with R, Q, R, Y, so they're independent, but they also don't contradict, so they're still consistent.
Consistent means if you say all S are P and all P are S, that's basically saying the same thing because S is P and P is S.
Yes.
So that would be consistent.
Be able to determine the quantity, whether universal or particular, and the quality, whether affirmative or negative, of all 4 categorical statements, A, E, I, and O statements.
A and E statements are universal. I and O statements are particular.
Affirmative is all SRP. Negative is no SRP.
Alright. Number 7. Be prepared to label the following on the square of opposition: superimplication, subimplication, contrariety, subcontrariety, and contradiction.
I got a
And we drew
drawing.
that on the back of here.
Shoot, I hope that shows up right in the video. Alright. Be able to translate common everyday language into standard categorical form.
Alright, so take something you would want to say in a normal conversation and make it into something more formal. Xbox is better than a PlayStation becomes all Xboxes are better than all PlayStations.
Know the 4 figures of syllogism. M equals P. M is the middle term. And in figure 1, M is the subject of the first statement and the predicate of the second premise. In figure 2, M, the middle term, is the predicate in the first premise and the predicate in the second premise as well.
Alright, so number 10, right?
No, do these last 2 too. Also.
What?
I'll do them then. Alright. In figure 3, M is the subject of the first premise and also the subject of the second premise. In figure 4, M is the predicate of the first premise and the subject of the second premise.
Number 10, right?
Yep.
Alright. Be able to provide both the mood and figure of a given schema.
Figure is basically what I just went over.
And then schema is basically like saying if you say all chairs are furniture, all furniture is sturdy, therefore all chairs are sturdy. That would be AAA-3 syllogism.
Okay. And that's not the schema, that's the mood actually. We had that wrote down wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Be able to A, articulate what it means to that a term is distributed, and B, identify the distributed term in AEIO statements.
Distributed term refers to all members of its category. So if I say all SRP, S is distributed because it's referring to all members of its category.
Alright, number 12. Know the difference between truth and validity.
Lost my place. Alright. Truth refers to the accuracy and correctness of a statement.
Validity refers to the structure of an argument and whether the conclusion logically follows from the premises.
Be able to determine if a syllogism is valid or invalid. If a statement is invalid, be able to identify which fallacy it commits, as well as how to write a counterexample.
If the syllogism is all dogs are cats, all cats are mammals, all dogs are mammals,
Yeah.
that would be valid
Yeah.
because it's AAA.
It's AAA-1.
Yeah.
Okay. Be able to locate the major, minor, and middle terms of a given syllogism.
The major is only one of the premise, and it is always in the first statement.
Middle is in both first premises.
And the minor is only in the second statement.
Note of three immediate inferences known as converse, obverse, and counterpositive, and be able to apply these inferences to a given statement.
Number 1 is converse, and it is reversing the subject and predicate.
Obverse is the opposite quality, and it has to have a negative conclusion.
And number 3, contrapositive is reverse the subject and the predicate and make them both negative. 16.
Be able to translate plain English arguments into standard categorical form.
Same thing as translating everyday language and making sure it goes major term, minor term, and then conclusion, with the middle term in both premises.
Be able to make an enthymeme and express it in standard categorical form.
Finding the assumed statement and putting it in standard categorical form.
Yeah, which is major, minor, and then conclusion with the middle in both premises. All right. Be able to recognize a hypothetical syllogism and determine its validity or what fallacy it commits.
First, you have to determine if it's positive or negative, then check for fallacies.
And that is the whole study guide. I hope you enjoyed it, and please give us a good grade.